obviously I didn't see this video because there was no internet really to speak of at the time. All there was, I didn't have it. I read about Nintendo Power though, and so I was following that development, and it just didn't really pan out. By the time it was canceled in 2000, I think it'll come up in a second. I was in college, I just started college, and I discovered the power of a non-dial-up connection. So I would start seeing these videos and stuff, and that's when I discovered Starman.net, which will come up in a little bit, but it's the mega fan site, basically, for all things EarthBound. And they had all sorts of news. They were following Mother 3's development, and when that was canceled, I was really disappointed. Like, mega disappointed. And that's why all of the, we all were, which is why all of the, what do you call them, petitions and so forth came out. At least I was able to download Mother for the NES, translated. I was very excited to find this original thread in the rec.games.video.classic using Google, which I didn't even know I could do. But it was like unearthing something in a museum, in a library, to open that up and see the initial posts that were like, "Hey, I got this Mother intro, or I got this Mother prototype in English that I'm willing to sell for a few $100s," and it's like unearthing history. Since then, I have actually bought one of the few known prototypes, which you probably know if you've read or watched the video. NES EarthBound prototype. Yeah, I open it up and look at it, and that in itself is amazing to me. To be able to touch this history, I really wish there was some sort of museum somewhere that I could put this, so that everyone could look at it. I'm still trying to find a way to dump the EarthBound Zero ROM from my cart to see if there's any difference. I've played a little bit of it. I haven't seen a difference yet, but obviously I have to play that on Nintendo NES. So I am not nearly as thorough as I know a lot of people out there on the internet can be. So I don't trust myself to completely find everything that might be possible. Plus, I know there's people out there like Tomato from Starman.net who could look at the source code and see if there's anything different. I know nothing about that. I'm just a geek who likes video games. I don't know about actually programming. Unless it's in BASIC, then I might be able to do something. But yeah, so once I discovered Starman.net and all this other stuff in around 2000, I discovered the EarthBound Zero ROM, downloaded it, played it. I was like, oh wow, this is kind of a pain in the ass to play because it's old Nintendo, but I can definitely see the initial, like the proto EarthBound. This one's for YTM and D'ers everywhere, but the proto EarthBound idea going on. So I really loved playing it. And that just made me even more anxious to get an EarthBound 2, if you will. That and Smash Brothers. I first rented Super Smash Brothers on a lark with some friends when I was in high school. Late high school, like 99, I guess. And we had no idea what it was. I hadn't even heard of it yet. My subscription to Nintendo Power, I think, lapsed by then. I was kind of getting older, getting a little bit away from Nintendo, and more involved in high school activities. For a few years there, I wasn't so much into video games as I am now or was before, but we got Super Smash Brothers, started playing it, and started unlocking stuff, like Jigglypuff just gets unlocked if you breathe on the cartridge funny. So we decided to find out how to unlock these the other characters, and I found out Ness was one of the unlockable characters, and I freaked out! I was like, what? Okay, yeah, this is awesome! And of course he was like the best character, he's been nerfed since, but that and the EarthBound Zero really got me piqued and interested in Starman.net. I didn't follow Reed's site when it was EarthBound.net. sadly, but Starman.net was a great... I was amazed at the amount of people that really were fanatically involved with this game, like I was. So this community, kind of through hardships, really bonded, even today. I mean, it's been over a decade, and all of these people get together, and there's still fan art and fan music. The fan music that you hear, you probably can't hear it now because I have it really turned down, so I can think, but the fan music that goes on throughout this whole documentary history, if you will, is really quite amazing, and it's almost all from Rock Candy, which is a compilation of fan music made by people who posted to Starman.net. And these people are amazingly talented, really. And you can download all of the Rock Candy albums. I think there's 5 of them, last I checked. If you go to Starman.net, or if you just Google Rock Candy, Starman, EarthBound, whatever, you should really do yourself a favor and check them all out. There's a lot of good stuff there. So the big thing here with the EarthBound 64 petition, 30,000 signatures. That's coming up, sorry. This was a big deal. That's the goofiest picture ever. I remember putting this on my Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger, trying to get people to sign this thing. I signed it, I had my friends sign it, even though they didn't know what they were signing up for. It doesn't matter. This was, I thought, as everyone thought, if this doesn't work, nothing will. Sure enough, it didn't work, so I guess nothing did. But it was nice to have an outlet. It was really nice to have an outlet for our kind of frustrations, for our creativity. I mean, I didn't write any, I didn't make any fan art awesome like that, or fan music, but to have people that could put their creative juices flowing into these stories, into this art, into this music, was very, probably cathartic for the whole EarthBound community, I guess you could say. And then, when Mother 1 and 2 was announced, the whole, with the little, yeah, Mother 3 is coming at the end, the whole site blew up. It was really ridiculous how much excitement there was. It was a little bit subdued by some people who were forward thinking and thought, well, just because it's coming out in Japan doesn't mean it's coming out here. And everyone else was like, oh, you gotta be crazy. No way it doesn't come out here. That's just ridiculous. They were right, sadly. When I first heard about Mother 3 being on the Game Boy Advance, I was very excited because I was like, well, you know, I think I'd rather have it on the 2D. Kind of more like EarthBound, more traditional. I think it would work better that way, especially because they had the team had such problems with 3D. And some games have not made the jump to 3D very well. So I could appreciate that. Unfortunately, they did not release Mother 3, obviously, in America. So that was very frustrating, and it's still very frustrating for many in the community. And though I say in this review, I say, okay, yeah, Nintendo of America sucks. Reggie sucks. Reggie Fils-Aimé. I don't want to encourage any sort of resentment. I don't want to say, oh man, Reggie is the reason we don't have Mother 3. What a dick. No, that's not... okay, yeah, that is kind of what I'm saying, but I don't really mean it. It's not like he's king of Nintendo of America, and it's up to him. It really is kind of... I'm sure there's boardrooms and meetings and so forth in America and Japan to see if they can release this here. Although, that picture works for anything. I love that picture. But, I mean, I'm not trying to get a lynch mob going for Reggie here, because, I mean, I know that he is not really to blame. He's not monolithic in the company. The problem is that it's very frustrating because Nintendo hasn't really given us any surefire reason why they're not releasing Mother 3 in America, why they're not putting EarthBound or Mother 1 or even Mother 3 on the Virtual Console. They just sit on it and they don't really say anything about it. I mean, the best that we can do is just guess, and luckily the most educated guess is done by Tomato at EarthBoundCentral.com, who's also a member of the Starman.net team, and the Mother 3 translation team, and he came up with a very excellent post about a year or so ago. I mentioned this in 16-Bit Gems 11. But he talked about how the most likely reason that Nintendo is not releasing this is because of possible copyright infringement in EarthBound. Basically, that a lot of the songs that were used sampled from a lot of actual copyrighted popular music, especially the Beatles and stuff like that. And you know what? That probably is it. That makes the most sense of any reason I've heard of why NCL and Nintendo of America cannot get together and get these things released. But I say that's a shaky excuse at best, and I stand by that because it's pretty damn shaky. I mean, I made another video, 16-Bit Gems Extra, if you will, using just 16-bit games and showed what they have sampled from in their soundtrack from popular copyrighted music. EarthBound is not the only game to do this. And yet, as far as I know, there is no video game manufacturer that has been sued on the basis of their soundtrack sounding too similar to copyrighted music. The only thing I could find was something from a year or so ago, where the guy who wrote the UNLV fight song, sued EA for using it in NCAA football. And that is a very special case because EA flat out used the song. That's it. That they didn't sample part of the song and put it into a new part of their soundtrack. So that's a different case. I think this is a shaky excuse. I'm sorry. It's not that Nintendo is out to get us or make us cry or anything like that. But I do believe they're being bad stewards of the series. I mean, they've been sitting on this property for so long and they will not release it in America. You could say, oh, well, yeah, Mother 3 came out so late in the GBA life cycle, they couldn't possibly release it in America. Okay, that's fine. But the thing is that if they took a year to translate it, released in North America, that would have been 2007. Guess what else came out in 2007? Final Fantasy VI, released for the GBA in North America. So much was released in 2007. Yes, that was the end of the GBA's life cycle, but that wasn't it. Okay, if they didn't want to release it for the GBA, there was a GBA slot in the DS. They could have ported it to the DS. They could have put a nice Mother compilation, Mother 1, 2, and 3, on the DS. They can still put any of these games on the Virtual Console. I mean, it really is just too bad that we have to work on conjecture because Nintendo is just taking such shoddy care of this series. They will not tell us how it is, what's going on. And that, like I said, that just points to bad stewardship. And that is why you have so many angry EarthBound fans out there. Because they just are not getting any answers for this amazing game, this amazing series. It's not misplaced generic anger. We have a reason to be angry. So, can we blame them for that? Yes, we can. They don't have to release it, but we could badmouth them if we want. Sorry, Nintendo fanboys. They don't always do everything right. In the meantime, all of this angst, or whatever you want to call it, has really encouraged the community. I mean, look at this. There's actually a few of these that I've found. People making fan games of Mother 4. There are a few people doing this. The DCM software people are just one of them. I would suggest that you guys go out and look and follow this. Here's something else. Black Hat Raven on YouTube made this intro. He made this for Mother. He made another one for EarthBound. This is beautiful. I mean, what other game would make its fans 15 years later put stuff like that together? Seriously, not even Final Fantasy games do that much. I mean, the art that you saw before was done by a Blue Wolf, the Mario paint by Tom Bob Blender. This is very good stuff done by the community consistently. It's not like all the stuff was done 10 years ago and then that's it. This is constantly being done. That is the Oopsie movies. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but they do the EarthBound saga. It's, like a very